In its 2025 budget, the Kremlin has allocated a record $145 billion for its war against Ukraine, a figure expected to remain steady through 2026, according to Bloomberg. Oil revenues continue to be the backbone of Russia's budget. In December 2022, Kyiv's allies tried to curb these revenues by imposing a $60 per barrel price cap. However, Russia managed to bypass sanctions, using a so-called shadow fleet, old tankers registered in third-country jurisdictions. To counter this, the European Union is preparing its 15th sanctions package, which targets Russia's shadow fleet.
The European Union is working on a new package of sanctions aimed at targeting the shadow fleet of tankers Russia is using to get its oil to market. The package, which the bloc aims to approve before the end of year, is also expected to include penalties against individuals involved in the trade. From the Bloomberg publication.
However, analysts question the effectiveness of Brussels' plans, as the primary buyers of Russian oil are India and China.
The key question is how much of this fleet is truly shadow and how can the EU enhance sanctions to prevent oil from reaching China and India. If these countries aren't sanctioning Russian oil, how can it be stopped?
Recent U.S. sanctions are receiving more price. On November 21st, the U.S. Department of the Treasury announced the disconnection of Gazprombank from the international SWIFT payment system. From December 20th, all financial transactions involving Gazprom will be prohibited. Several commercial banks have also been targeted. These sanctions have already caused Gazprombank cards to stop functioning in over 20 countries and pushed the ruble to its lowest level since March 2022. However, some experts believe that Washington's approach to sanctions has been too moderate.
Even with these sanctions, I would call Biden's sanction policy very restrained. It doesn't fundamentally destroy Russia's economy but creates difficulties. The impact is about 1% of GDP annually.
Sanction pressure could increase with Donald Trump's return to the White House. Trump has already pledged to ramp up U.S. oil production and lower its price to $40 per barrel. Analysts also expect heightened focus on the shadow fleet.
I am confident that under Trump there will be a ban on importing Russian natural gas and LNG into Europe, with the EU stepping in to fill the gap. I also expect targeted sanctions, for example, against the maritime fleet, specifically the shadow fleet that Russia uses to illegally transport oil to global markets. I believe severe sanctions will be imposed on them as well, potentially including the seizure of these ships and criminal prosecution of their captains and the owners of the companies involved.
Meanwhile, Russia's economy is facing growing challenges. Massive investment in the military-industrial complex are creating systematic imbalances and fueling inflation. The Russian central bank has responded by repeatedly raising interest rates, stifling financial activity. However, inflation remains uncontrollable, and businesses are complaining about mounting pressure while calling for central bank reforms. According to Kirill Budanov, chief of the main directorate of intelligence of Ukraine, Russia could face severe economic problems by the summer of 2025. Reported by Bastun Katerina, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.